I also wanted to ask you about, and this to me is really interesting on how your channel is not just cleaning, but a lot of organizing, of course, trying to make sense out of your life. And even more interesting to me is your approach to minimalism, because I think, I don't know when you kind of got into this, but I have a feeling we were right around that same period of time. I remember talking to you about it a couple of years ago, but I really have just embraced the entire philosophy of just kind of less is more, shedding myself of things that I don't really need any longer, and trying to be more purposeful about the things that I do buy. But at the same time, I kind of recently have had this like switch go off in my head and think, minimalism is kind of, it almost feels like this really privileged space to be in, that, I can go around and say, yes, I'm a minimalist because I've been in a position where I can accumulate stuff that I no longer need. And the more I think about it, the more I kind of think, I don't know if I even want to kind of use that term anymore, of like, look at me getting rid of stuff, when there's people who barely have, a base existence of things that they need to just survive. And is this kind of a concept of minimalism that could actually help people who don't have a lot of things to improve their lives? Or is it just a bunch of people who have too much stuff sitting around, kind of like, oh, I need to get rid of this stuff? I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things that I think about.
That's really interesting. I haven't thought about it from a privilege standpoint, but you bring up a really good point. The thing that has driven me to talk so much about minimalism, and just to be clear, like, I'm not a minimalist who, is like austere by any means. Like, we have stuff, but going through and decluttering all the time makes me really think about what I buy and really question purchases. I mean, Chad and I have worked on this together as individuals and as a family. Like, it's really important to us. We think about all of our purchases, and we're of the mind where we'd rather spend more money and get the better thing than spend less money and get the cheap thing that we're going to have to replace faster. And that's, from an investment standpoint, a convenience standpoint, and from an environmental standpoint. So minimalism, I think it's a good mindset for everyone to adopt. And I think you can fall anywhere on the spectrum. I just think maybe minimalism isn't even the right word, Steve. Like, maybe it's, as you said, like purposeful. Maybe it's just purposeful consumption or meaningful consumption. Because what I see, and some of the things that really break my heart on YouTube, are these like massive haul videos where people are going out and buying like seasonal things that they're only going to use. And they're like, this is how I'm decorating for, Thanksgiving 2020, which is entirely different from 2019. So in my mind, I'm like, well, what are you doing with all the 2019 stuff? Like, you spent $400. Where's that? In a landfill that your grandchildren are going to have to deal with someday? So, for me, it's more about thinking through our purchases, and if we can, buying what we need, what we love, what we're going to use, and leaving everything else. And even that in and of itself is a privilege. So yeah, you do bring up a really good point there. Something I don't think Chad and I have pondered before.
Yeah. I mean, I still kind of, I'm embracing the lifestyle as much as I can of just kind of living with less. And mostly it's just more about kind of, the bigger thing is decluttering my mind, just kind of having less stuff makes me think a little bit clearer, I suppose. But I really like it when you have those videos, and I kind of like that your channel has explored all of these topics, even though it's clean my space. What do you think about the word clean? What is it called? Cleanfluencer? See, I think that if you have influencer and cleaning, the natural thing would be influ cleanser, right?
Ooh.
That sounds like something you need to go to the
Ooh.
doctor for.
Maybe I need to
Or
work
it sounds
on
like
that.
a product you would get affiliate commission for.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do anything. You know, have you heard of, I'm sure you have, Swedish death cleaning. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, so I'm roughly familiar with the concept. So the funny thing is, like, yes, I'm a clean influencer, but I actually don't spend a lot of time reading about cleaning in my downtime, like learning about other
Yeah.
cleaning concepts.
I
'cause
don't
I'm just like,
read about woodworking either. Same thing. I
yeah.
really don't. It's not the thing I
So
do.
if I'm not mistaken, I think Swedish death cleaning is like the process of cleaning your stuff up ahead of your death so that
Right.
you don't burden your family with all the crap that they have to clean after you die.
Yeah. I think
I wish Chad would do some Swedish death cleaning.
No, I don't even know what that means.
I do. He's got a couple of areas in this house.
Yeah.
I always say to him, if you die, this is all going in the garbage.
Jeez. I remember my grandmother was getting old and she started giving away lots of stuff. And I think it was kind of the same thing. She was just kind of getting to that point.
Yeah, my mom's gone through that as well. She's like moving on from photographs and whatnot. It's just like, I don't need it. I don't need it anymore. And I don't want you to worry about it, after. So you don't have to see huge. I never knew that, actually. I didn't know anything about Swedish death cleaning.
I just like the name of it. Especially, and this is, for everybody listening to this, it's next week, but we're recording this on Friday the 13th. And this is our 13th episode. So, Swedish death cleaning, Friday the 13th.
Lucky 13.
Naturally.
I was going to say my mom, when we moved, so my mom, my parents were divorced when I was 14. Oh, this is the whole therapy session.
Ooh, tell us more.
Joking. No. Okay. So my parents divorced when I was 14, and then my mom remarried when I was about 22. So that's when we moved out. My sister and I we bought a condo. So my mom at that point, like, clean swept the whole house. Like, we threw out tons of stuff that we were hanging on to. We were in that house since like 1986 or something like that. We moved out in 2007. So there was tons of stuff to get rid of. And I remember my sister and I felt so sad that my mom was like throwing out our old artwork. Like, we felt rejected by our mom, and my mom was just like, girls,
right,
I don't need this. You don't need this. We'll save a small pile of it, but everything else we can get rid of. And shortly before that happened, her mother passed away, and her two sisters, she and her two sisters had to clean out my grandmother's condo. And it was a ton of work. They had to go through all her affairs, and it was so much work for them. And I think my mom at that point was just like, I'm not going to be that way with my stuff. And she has moved, I think, about 4 times since then. And each move, she's eliminated more stuff. And now she's in the smallest condo. She's about 850 square feet now. And she's so pared down. And she is so happy with the little stuff that she has, because she's just, everything in her home is, I hate to overuse this word, but it's curated. Like, really, she's picked what she's wanted to keep. She's decorated it in the way that makes her happy. She knows where everything is, and there's no like secret hiding spot for her garbage,
It's beautiful. It is really. It is.
It is.
I want to be, you pare it all down.